The vast darkness of space stretched endlessly, punctuated by the gleaming metal hull of the alien battlecruiser. Its imposing silhouette blocked out the distant starlight, casting an ominous shadow over Earth's orbital defense perimeter. Captain Zach Park stood motionless, his eyes fixed on the massive vessel that had appeared without warning. Lieutenant Hai Kim monitored the communication systems, her fingers dancing across holographic displays that flickered with incoming alien transmissions. The room was tense, filled with a silence that seemed to crackle with anticipation. Commander Rylax of the Galactic Confederation studied the blue-green planet before him. Humans looked so fragile, so primitive. Their planet was a mere speck in the cosmic landscape, their technology laughably rudimentary compared to the advanced systems of the Confederation. "Transmission incoming," Hai announced, her voice steady despite the tension. The alien voice boomed through the speakers, each word dripping with condescension. "Inhabitants of Earth, this is Commander Rylax of the Galactic Confederation. Your planet has been selected for resource extraction. Prepare for immediate surrender." Siak's hand touched the communication panel. He knew this moment would define humanity's future. Around him, the space station hummed with quiet energy. Hundreds of trained personnel waited, their muscles tense, their eyes alert. In the alien ship, Rylax expected immediate capitulation. Every species they had encountered before had quickly submitted to the Confederation's superior technology and overwhelming force. Preliminary scans showed humans as a species barely capable of leaving their own planet, with primitive weapons and limited understanding of advanced space travel. But something was different about this moment. Siak's fingers moved across the communication panel. He didn't respond with fear or aggression. Instead, he chose something unexpected. Calm professionalism. "This is Captain Siak Park of United Nations Space Defense. We acknowledge your transmission. Please state specific terms of your proposed resource extraction." Rylax was momentarily confused. Most species would be trembling, begging for mercy. These humans seemed almost professional. The space station around Siak buzzed with controlled preparation. Technicians monitored systems. Weapon teams ran silent diagnostics. Everything moved with precision, like a well-oiled machine preparing for an inevitable conflict. Hai leaned closer to Siak. "They don't understand us," she whispered. "Exactly," Siak replied, a hint of a smile crossing his weathered face. The alien communication system continued to transmit. Rylax explained the Confederation's superior technology, their unbeatable military might, the futility of resistance. Each word was intended to crush human spirit, to demonstrate the hopelessness of their situation. But humans had a history of defying expectations. In war rooms across Earth, military strategists watched the transmission. They had been preparing for this moment for decades. Secret projects, hidden technologies, adaptive defense systems, all waiting for this precise moment. Siak understood something the aliens did not. Humanity's strength wasn't in advanced technology or overwhelming firepower. It was in adaptability, in the ability to turn any situation to their advantage. The space station's systems began a subtle transformation. Defensive protocols activated, weapon systems powered up silently. To the alien sensors, everything appeared normal, which was precisely the point. Commander Rylax continued his speech, confident in the Confederation's inevitable victory. He did not notice the slight changes happening across the human defense systems. He could not see the preparations being made with surgical precision. Lieutenant Hai Kim's fingers moved almost imperceptibly, initiating a series of complex protocols that would soon surprise the overconfident aliens. This was more than a first encounter. This was humanity's moment to show the galaxy who they truly were. The stage was set, the players were in position, and nobody, not even the technologically superior Galactic Confederation, knew exactly what was about to happen. The first wave of alien attack came swiftly, a massive pulse of energy designed to disable human communication and defense systems. Commander Rylax expected total shutdown, complete surrender within moments. Instead, something unexpected happened. Small drone units burst from hidden Earth stations, moving in patterns that defied traditional combat algorithms. These were not simple machines, but adaptive units programmed with complex decision-making protocols. Each drone seemed to think independently, changing direction unpredictably. Lieutenant Hai Kim watched the screens with intense concentration. Her team had spent years developing these experimental drone swarms. Unlike traditional military weapons, these units learned and adapted in real time. They weren't programmed for a single mission. They evaluated and responded dynamically. The alien fleet's first response was confusion. Their targeting systems relied on predictable movement patterns. These human drones moved like living creatures, sometimes splitting, sometimes merging, always changing. No two drones behaved exactly the same way. Siak Park monitored the battle from the command center. His hands remained steady, his breathing calm. Years of preparation had led to this moment. Humanity's greatest weapon wasn't technology, it was unpredictability. On the alien battlecruiser, strategist Corral began to panic. Their advanced tracking systems couldn't lock onto the human drones. Each attempt to target a drone resulted in a missed shot, the small machine dancing away at the last moment. "They're not following any known combat protocol," Corral shouted, his tentacle-like appendages moving frantically across control panels. The drones weren't just avoiding attacks, they were systematically targeting the most vulnerable points of the alien ships. A cooling system here, a communication relay there. Small, precise strikes that didn't destroy but disrupted. Rylax watched in growing horror. These weren't the actions of a primitive species. These were calculated, intelligent movements, designed to create maximum chaos with minimum resources. Earth's defense strategy wasn't about overwhelming force. It was about intelligent disruption. The drone swarms carried no traditional weapons. Instead, they deployed sophisticated electronic warfare packages. They intercepted alien communication signals, created false transmission points, and introduced complex mathematical algorithms that confused the alien ship's computer systems. One drone would make a seemingly random movement, drawing the attention of alien defense systems. Another would slip through, delivering a precise, electronic payload that caused temporary system failures. Chai's team had designed these drones to learn from each interaction. Every missed shot, every defensive maneuver by the aliens was immediately analyzed and integrated into the swarm's collective strategy. The alien fleet's perfectly organized formation began to break down. Ships started to drift, their communication systems experiencing unexplained interruptions. Navigation became increasingly difficult as human drones introduced subtle electromagnetic interference. "This is impossible," Rylax muttered, watching. His fleet's carefully planned attack dissolve into chaos. Siak allowed himself a small smile. Humanity had always been underestimated. Their ability to adapt, to think beyond traditional boundaries, was their greatest strength. The battle wasn't about destroying the alien fleet. It was about proving a point. Humans were not a species to be easily conquered. As the first hour of conflict concluded, the alien fleet found itself in complete disarray. Not a single human ship had been directly destroyed. Yet the aliens had lost significant operational capability. Coral's final report to Rylax was simple and terrifying. "We cannot predict their next move," and that uncertainty was humanity's most powerful weapon. The first encounter had ended. The initial resistance had sent a clear message to the Galactic Confederation. Humans were not victims. They were survivors, and this was just the beginning. The research facility buzzed with intense energy. Lieutenant Hai Kim stood surrounded by scattered alien technology, her team working with laser-like focus. Pieces of captured alien equipment lay dismantled across multiple workstations, each component examined with scientific precision. What the aliens didn't understand was humanity's extraordinary ability to learn and adapt. Where other species saw complex technology, humans saw puzzles waiting to be solved. Siak Park walked through the facility, observing the rapid progress. Scientists worked in shifts, nobody sleeping more than 4 hours. They had discovered something remarkable. Alien technology wasn't fundamentally different from human technology. It just operated on principles they hadn't yet understood. One researcher, Dr. Park Min-seo, held up a small energy conversion module from the captured alien ship. "We can improve this," she muttered, already sketching alternative circuit designs. Within days, hybrid systems started emerging. A plasma cannon that combined human mechanical engineering with alien energy principles. Communication networks that used quantum entanglement in ways the original designers never imagined. Adaptive shield technologies that could reconfigure themselves milliseconds before an attack. The alien observation teams still monitoring Earth couldn't believe what they were seeing. Humans were reverse engineering technology that had taken the Galactic Confederation centuries to develop, and they were doing it in weeks. Rylax watched the data streams with growing horror. Each report showed humans transforming captured technology faster than any species in galactic history. They weren't just copying, they were improving. The hybrid plasma cannons, for instance, were 37% more efficient than the original alien designs. The quantum communication networks could transmit data with less energy consumption and higher security. Shield technologies could now predict and counter attack vectors with unprecedented accuracy. Shai's team worked like a well-oiled machine. They didn't just understand the technology, they reimagined it. Where alien designers saw rigid systems, humans saw flexible opportunities. A young engineer named David Kim demonstrated a new shield modulation technique that could adapt to multiple frequency attacks simultaneously. The alien observation team realized they were watching something unprecedented, a species learning and evolving in real time. Siak understood the psychological impact of this rapid adaptation. It wasn't just about technology. It was about showing the Galactic Confederation that humans were not victims. They were innovators. The research facility became a symbol of human potential. Every captured alien device was a lesson. Every broken component a new opportunity. Scientists worked with a passion that transcended traditional research methodologies. Within 2 months, human ships were being retrofitted with these new hybrid technologies. Each vessel became a testament to human creativity. Traditional military thinking suggested slow, careful adaptation. Human approach was different. Bold, immediate, transformative. Rylax received updated reports that made no sense. How could a species develop such advanced technologies so quickly? The mathematical probability seemed impossible, but humans weren't following anyone's mathematical models. The technological leap wasn't just about military advantage. It represented something deeper, humanity's fundamental ability to learn, adapt, and overcome. Every challenge was an opportunity. Every limitation was a problem waiting to be solved. Dr. Min-seo's team had already started developing the next generation of technologies. They weren't just copying alien systems. They were creating something entirely new. The Galactic Confederation had made a critical mistake. They thought they were dealing with a primitive species. Instead, they had awakened a civilization of problem solvers, innovators, and relentless learners. Park looked at the transformed research facility. What started as a defensive response was becoming something more. A technological revolution that would reshape galactic understanding. Humans weren't just adapting to alien technology. They were redefining what technology could be. And this was only the beginning. The psychological warfare began subtly. Admiral J. Lee understood something profound about conflict. The most powerful weapon was not technology, but the human mind. Earth started broadcasting complex communication signals across alien communication networks. These weren't simple messages. They were intricate matrices designed to challenge alien cognitive processing systems. Each transmission contained layers of information that would simultaneously challenge, confuse, and destabilize alien psychological protocols. The broadcasts mixed mathematical complexity, emotional depth, and strategic uncertainty in ways no alien system could fully comprehend. Alien ships began experiencing unexplained psychological disruptions. Crew members reported strange emotional responses. Navigation systems started producing inconsistent data. Communication channels became unreliable. Commander Rylax watched his fleet slowly descend into psychological chaos. Alien crew members began questioning their mission, their leadership, their very purpose. The human broadcasts seemed to exploit deep psychological vulnerabilities within the Galactic Confederation's rigid hierarchical structure. Lieutenant Hai Kim and her team had designed these transmissions like complex psychological puzzles. Each signal was a weapon more powerful than any physical weapon. They targeted the fundamental weaknesses in alien cognitive processing. The broadcast contained multiple layers. On the surface, they seemed like random information. Deeper analysis revealed complex emotional and logical matrices that challenged alien understanding of communication. Some transmissions mimicked alien communication protocols perfectly, then subtly introduced elements that created cognitive dissonance. Others used mathematical sequences that seemed logical, but contained deliberately placed psychological triggers. Alien ships started experiencing crew morale collapses. Officers questioned orders. Navigation teams became uncertain. Communication specialists found themselves unable to process incoming information effectively. Siak Park monitored the psychological impact with clinical precision. Humans had always been masters of psychological complexity. Where alien civilizations valued rigid logic, humans thrived on emotional and intellectual adaptability. The psychological warfare wasn't about destroying the alien fleet. It was about breaking their will to fight. One particular transmission caused significant disruption. It contained a complex mathematical sequence that, when processed by alien communication systems, created a form of cognitive feedback loop. Alien computer systems would get trapped analyzing the sequence, unable to move beyond its complex parameters. Rylax watched in growing terror as his fleet's psychological integrity began to crumble. These weren't just attacks. They were sophisticated psychological deconstructions of alien military structure. Human teams had studied alien communication systems for years. They understood the rigid hierarchical thinking that defined the Galactic Confederation. Each psychological transmission was designed to exploit those specific vulnerabilities. Crew communication broke down. Ships started experiencing internal conflicts. The once disciplined alien military structure began to show significant fractures. Admiral J. Lee referred to this as invisible warfare. No physical weapons were used, yet the damage was more profound than any traditional military strike. The human broadcast contained something aliens couldn't comprehend: emotional complexity. They mixed logical sequences with emotional depth, creating communication matrices that challenged fundamental alien understanding of information processing. Some transmissions contained deliberate emotional triggers. Others used mathematical sequences that created psychological uncertainty. Each was a precisely designed psychological weapon. Alien ships started reporting strange phenomena. Communication systems would suddenly produce emotional responses. Navigation teams would experience momentary confusion. Crew members would question their most basic operational protocols. Rylax realized something terrifying. Humans were attacking not just their technology, but their entire psychological framework. The Galactic Confederation had encountered many species, but they had never faced an opponent who understood psychological warfare at such a complex level. Humans weren't just fighting, they were systematically dismantling the alien fleet's psychological integrity. And they were doing it without firing a single traditional weapon. The final battle lasted less than an hour, but it would be remembered throughout galactic history as the moment humanity transformed from an unknown species to a galactic power. Admiral J. Lee stood on the command deck, watching the alien fleet's complete psychological and technological collapse. The human ships moved with calculated precision, each vessel acting like a living, thinking entity. Hybrid technologies developed in previous weeks now showed their true potential. Plasma cannons fired with unprecedented accuracy. Quantum communication networks allowed instantaneous strategic coordination. Adaptive shield systems rendered alien weapons almost completely ineffective. Commander Rylax watched in total shock. His perfectly organized fleet was being systematically dismantled without traditional combat techniques. Human ships didn't just attack. They anticipated, adapted, and neutralized every possible alien defensive strategy. The psychological warfare of previous weeks had completely destroyed the alien fleet's operational integrity. Ships that should have been functioning perfectly now experienced critical system failures. Communication networks collapsed. Navigation became impossible. Seok Park's strategy was brutally simple: destroy the alien fleet's ability to fight, not just their physical capability. Each human action was calculated to create maximum psychological and technological disruption. Lieutenant Hai Kim managed the technological aspects of the assault. The drone swarms introduced during earlier encounters now worked in perfect synchronization with human ships. They weren't just support units, they were intelligent extensions of the human combat strategy. Alien ships started surrendering without even engaging in direct combat. The psychological impact of human technology and warfare strategies had completely shattered their fighting spirit. One by one, alien vessels powered down their weapons. Their communication channels broadcast messages of complete surrender. The mighty Galactic Confederation fleet was being defeated by a species they had initially considered primitive. The mathematical probability of such a defeat was almost impossible. Yet it was happening. Rylax's final transmission was a whispered acknowledgement of humanity's unexpected capabilities. We did not understand," he said, his voice carrying a mixture of fear and respect. Human ships didn't celebrate. They remained disciplined, monitoring the surrender with professional calm. Each action was precise, each movement calculated. The battle wasn't just a military victory. It was a comprehensive demonstration of human potential, technological innovation, psychological complexity, strategic adaptability. Within hours, the entire alien invasion force had been neutralized. No massive destruction, no unnecessary violence, just a systematic, intelligent dismantling of an advanced military structure. Admiral J. Lee reviewed the battle data. The human losses were minimal. The alien losses were complete. Every ship, every system had been either captured or disabled. The galactic communication networks would soon spread the news. Humanity was not just a defendable species. They were a dominant force waiting to be recognized. Seok Park understood the larger implications. This wasn't just about winning a battle. This was about establishing humanity's place in the galactic community. The hybrid technologies developed during the conflict would revolutionize space exploration. The psychological warfare techniques would become standard study in military academies. Across different civilizations, humans had shown something profound. True strength wasn't about overwhelming force. It was about intelligence, adaptability, and the ability to transform challenges into opportunities. As the last alien ships powered down, a new era began. The galaxy would never look at humans the same way again. They were no longer an unknown species. They were a force to be respected, studied, and approached with caution. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and they had made an entrance nobody would ever forget.